Hello peeps and welcome back to Gult's Gorge. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff to do today. I'm gonna get started. Last episode I created this wither spawner over here with Kozak's help. Or wither skeleton spawner and the wither spawner I guess. I upgraded it with a vacuum chest here to grab the wither stars automatically. And we got a lot of skulls. And subsequently turned that into a lot of withers. 32 so far. So, wither stars are no longer a problem. What is a problem is power. Also, one thing I should point out is I took the time off camera to go and get us a tier 5 wither skeleton shard just by repeatedly killing the withers that our spawner over there produced, so we don't need that spawner anymore really. I'm going to update this later. I also got a tier 5 enderman shard by killing endermen in the end. And I got us a tier 3 cow shard. I will explain the tiers once I actually get to producing the spawner, but that's not what we're doing today. Today I'm going to address our power situation by starting a new mod. Now, right now we're doing okay for power, but this system in here, if it's running, produces about 2,000 RF a tick, or 1,600 RF a tick. These out here, I finally upgraded to the resonant tier. These produce 120 each, so we're producing a total of just over 2,000 RF a tick. Some of our machines use 300 RF a tick on their own. And that's not to count the pumps that are running over there pretty much constantly, or if I'm doing ore processing, or if I'm running a builder, or this, or that, or yeah, you get the point. We need more reliable power, and for that we're going to delve into deep resonance. Deep resonance is a mod that's basically built around crystals and getting power out of them. There are inherent dangers in doing this, but we're going to do what we can to minimize some of those dangers today. The first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get the parts necessary to smelt down the resonating ore into crystal liquid. So, we're going to need to get the smelter, which requires some of these resonating plates. It's just smelt down resonating ore to get 8 plates. Pretty easy. So, we're going to need a smelter, which requires a machine frame. We're actually probably going to need a few of these machine frames. Let's get the smelter. I should have some nether brick. We do. So, smelter got. We're going to need a purifier. This requires some filter material, which is coal, sand, and gravel. We have shit tons of all of that, so filter material, not a problem. We're also going to, let's make the purifier. We're going to need, we're going to need a valve, which is a redstone comparator. Need some torches. And I'll explain all these parts once I actually get to the point that we're dealing with it. Wow, okay. Let's break down a bit of wood. Get some sticks. I seem to always be running low on sticks. I really should at some point here just bite the bullet and set up some auto crafting. So that'll get us the comparator, which gets us the valve. We're also going to need some tanks. I'm going to want probably about 6 of these tanks, and I'll explain why. Iron? I'm out of iron? Really? I'm out of iron. Please tell me I put some in here. Because if not, that's a problem. Okay, yeah, I did. There's also some draconium in there that I need to clean up. I went into the end and found a meteorite and mined out a bunch of draconium ore. Just so that we have some in reserve for some of the stuff I'm going to want to do. And I was constantly running out of gold, so I finally just said screw it and got a bunch of it. Let's see, tanks is what I was doing. I got 1. We're going to want 6 of these tanks, I think. We're also going to need a crystallizer to make the end crystal at the end. We're going to need an infusing laser, which takes a couple of emeralds and some diamonds. We're going to need a lens. And that's everything that we're going to need to create the crystal itself. We'll eventually need the generator controller, and the energy collector. We're also going to need a chest, which I'm going to grab an iron chest. I need to use these dark oak chests because they're a quark thing, and if I put them in the world, they're going to break. So let's go get this thing set up. We're also going to need some conduits because some of these things do require power. So let's go ahead and convert some more conduit. And we'll grab the enhanced energy conduit that I have. I've got my crescent hammer. Shouldn't have the augment in there. Nope, we're good. Okay, so I think, oh shit, we actually need one more block. And a couple more things. We're going to need some fluid conduit. Going to need one more tank. Totally forgot something. And we're going to need a liquid monitor from RF Tools, as well as some redstone. I can just use vanilla redstone for this, I guess. I'd rather use redstone conduit, but I don't have any at the moment, and I don't feel like making it. So let's go set this up. I'm going to set it up in my clean room, because it seems like a good place to set something like this up. And I'm actually going to set it up against this wall, I think. So what do we need to do here? First of all, we need to put down a tank. We're going to put the tank right. We'll do the tank right here. Now, we're going to need some lava. Actually, let's set the thing up, and I actually don't want the tank there. I want it one space out. It's getting kind of close to my other stuff, though. Maybe I should move the Steve's... I'm going to move the Steve's cart setup and put it over there. We don't use the Steve's cart stuff for much anyway, so... yeah, we'll do it this way. And unfortunately, there's no real way that I've found to do this compact and get around having cable sticking out the back, so that's going to be a concern. Okay, smelter there. On top of the smelter, you put 1, 2, 3 tanks. Next to this tank, you put your purifier. Right there. Okay? Under somewhere around the purifier, you put your chest. And it's not real important that you be able to access the chest because it's mostly just a dumping point. But at some point I'll probably want to replace this with a skystone chest. Actually, let's just do that now. Because the skystone chest you can open even if the... no. The skystone chest you can open even if the ceiling's blocked. So, see? Okay. Now, underneath this tank, we're going to put the valve. Underneath the valve, we're going to put 3 more tanks. And on top of this tank, we're going to put the crystallizer. So fairly nice compact setup overall. Some of these blocks do require power. The crystallizer is one of them. I don't believe the purifier does. No, it doesn't. I do know that the smelter does. The valve doesn't. But the smelter does. And then we're also going to need to set up an infusing laser. So we're going to put the lens right here. I'm going to use iron ore to space this. And we'll put the laser right here. The laser does require power too. So we'll run this conduit around over here to mesh that. And then I kind of want to have minimal exposure for my conduit, so I'm going to run it behind here, I think. We'll run it underground. There. That should do it. Looks pretty clean. Kozak's wolves are going absolutely berserk out there. It looks pretty clean. I don't really like the conduit here, but there's not much you can do about it. Alright, so the only other thing we need to set up is we need to set up a tank, and we need to set up this liquid monitor. Now off camera, I did go down into our mining cave, and I set up our builder in pump mode, which works pretty much exactly the same as a quarry, except you outline the liquids and it pumps them up super fast. So we have a resonant tank that's full of 250 buckets of lava. Pretty good stuff. We're going to set this tank up right here. We're going to put a fluid conduit right there. And did I just crash? No, I didn't crash. But for some reason that didn't take. There we go. And this tank, we're going to have to click on the side in order to set this to accept mode. Now, the smelter burns up a resonating ore into liquid crystal. It takes 30 resonating ore worth of liquid crystal to make a crystal. But the smelter has two requirements. It requires power and it also requires lava. The amount of lava in the tank underneath it is important. You want to keep it between 40 and 60% full. If it goes below 40%, the quality of the liquid crystal is impacted and the process slows down. If it goes above 60%, some of the crystal might be destroyed and the quality goes down. So we need to set this in out. We want this to be redstone mode active with signal. Okay? And this is going to be extract mode. This is going to be insert mode. Now, this is where this liquid monitor comes into play. We're going to put the liquid monitor down. By default, the output is to the back. Let's see. This, I can't tag it into the tank because it's not close enough apparently. Put it right there. I should be able to tag the tank there. Yep, I can tag this tank. We are going to set this to send a redstone signal when the tank is below. We're going to go 45%. So when it's less than 45% full, it will send a redstone signal. And we should be able to put a piece of redstone down and see that working. And the tank should be transferring. Well, it's not going to because there's no redstone conduit on there. I need some redstone conduit. Let's just whip up a few pieces real fast. We'll cook this into iron. Get my pyrotheum out there. Or wait, redstone alloy is silicon and redstone. It's not iron. Derp. So silicon, redstone. Gives me some redstone alloy. With that I can make some redstone conduit. Yeah, I used all of our redstone conduit setting up the thing over there, the spawner. Yoink, yoink, yoink. Good. And now, when we come over here and we attach this redstone conduit to that fluid conduit, it's going to get a redstone signal because it's less than 45% full, right? Not energy conduit, redstone conduit. Now, this is getting a redstone signal. It's less than 45% full, so this is going to start pumping out. And once it hits 45% full, now it's stopped. It's still going to drain what's in the conduit. And this should put us, once it's all said and done, right about half full. This will automatically keep this liquid level at around 50%, which is exactly where we want it. Now, we just need some resonating ore to smelt down. And this is actually going to be a multi-part episode because it takes a while to do these crystals. Especially because of the filter. So we're going to get it going, and then next episode we'll actually probably create the crystal. Let's grab some more filter material. And let's grab 30 resonating ore. 30 is what it takes to make one crystal. So, this valve here, we're going to set this valve. Yep, we want purity 100, strength 100, efficiency 100. We want everything set to 100. This purifier, we're going to put some of this filter material in here. I'm going to toss an extra stack in here just so we have it handy. And then we're going to toss the resonating ore in here. It's going to start smelting it down. And this is one of the reasons why it's going to take a while. But you see we have 200 millibuckets of liquid crystal fluid in there. Quality is 100%, purity is 35% and going up. What it's doing is this purifier here is burning the filter material to purify this liquid. Now, let's talk about these numbers real quick. Quality. Quality is the one number with the stuff that you cannot change. Quality affects all of the other numbers. If you have 50% quality and you make any change to the other numbers, only half the change applies, and you can only get to 50% on those numbers. So quality, you want to keep it 100. You do that by making sure that the liquid level in this tank is well regulated, which right now it is. So as long as we keep the liquid level in this tank well regulated, we're in good shape. The quality should never drop below 100. Purity. These things put off radiation. And radiation can cause all sorts of nasty side effects. It can cause hunger, it can pollute the environment, it can do all sorts of stuff. You want to keep your purity as high as possible because the higher the purity, the less radiation is given off, the cleaner the crystal burns, if you will. Strength is the amount of RF per tick that the thing can put off. Or no, strength is the total power contained in the thing. The total amount of RF that's contained in the crystal. The higher the strength, the more RF it can produce over its lifetime. Efficiency is how much it can put off per tick. So if you have a crystal with really high strength and really low efficiency, it'll last forever, but you're not going to get much RF out of it. Overall, you want to aim to try and get all of these numbers as close to 100 as possible. Purity is the most important. Strength and efficiency, I would say strength is second most important. Efficiency is the least important, but as you'll see, there's no reason why you can't get it to 100% when you're as far into a mod pack as I am. However, we're going to require some stuff to do this, and that's where this laser is going to come into play, but it's not going to come into play quite yet. There's one more thing I want to try and do this episode. One of the best ways to raise purity at the end, because the purifier can only get the purity up to 85%. That's all the farther it can go. In order to get that last little boost, you're going to have to put something through the purifying laser, or the infusing laser. And the best thing to use is emeralds. However, we don't have that many emeralds, and emeralds are kind of a bitch to get. Or are they? Remember I was talking about that dimlet workbench a while back? Well, I went out and I did some dimlet hunting, and I have the ability to build the workbench, but I found something else that's kind of important. I found a Highlands biome. Highlands biomes produce emeralds. You can get emeralds here. However, I don't want to just come out here and mine these emeralds because this is not a renewable resource. Once you've mined all the emeralds out of this highlands, you can't get any more. That's why I stuck a biome absorber here. This biome absorber has been keyed into the Highlands biome. Biome absorbers are a machine frame, wool, a couple of saplings, and a couple of pieces of dirt. You find the biome that you want to emulate, you put this down, and it slowly absorbs it up to 100%. Once it hits 100%, you can use it to craft a biome dimlet. Let's go back home, and let's craft a dimlet workbench. Dimlet workbench is a couple of crafting tables, a dimlet base part, which I have now, and some gold and some redstone. Let's go ahead and grab all of our dimlet parts because these go into the dimlet workbench. This is a bunch of other dimlets that I've found that we're going to be breaking down, but not going to do it right at this moment. Probably within the next minute or two, but okay, the dimlet workbench does require power. So I'm going to drill down and we're going to pop it in right here. Now the dimlet workbench, you can see it has an infusion level. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. It doesn't really matter for the moment. We're probably going to want to infuse this thing sooner rather than later, but I don't have enough dimensional crystals to do that. Biome dimlets, yeah, we'll go ahead and rip apart. I should explain this. Up here, you can put dimlets in, and by hitting the extract button, you can pull the dimlet apart and get some pieces out of it. Like we got a basic memory unit, and I think we got a controller circuit, but I don't know. Anyway, you can also select dimlets to build here. If we want to build a Highland dimlet, it requires control circuit. Well, it requires a base part, because they all do. It requires a tier 1 controller circuit. It requires a basic power cell, a basic energy module like that. It requires a basic memory module, which, do I have any basic memory modules? I think I just have a regular. Nope, there's a basic. It requires a biome type, and it requires the biome absorber. That allows us to create a biome dimlet Highlands. Awesome. Now, let's see what else we can get. We're going to want the single biome controller, which is currently not craftable there, because it's craftable here. So we'll make one of these before we actually build this biome. Let's see what else we can do. Let's see. These are all biomes. Now we get into the terrain stuff. These are all liquids that you can make the liquids out of. Like you can make the lakes out of Zephyrian Aerithium, or if you want to. I wouldn't suggest it, but you can. You can make it out of primal mana, gelid cryothium, crude oil, all sorts of stuff. These are material types, so you can make it out of dirt, sandy dirt, loamy dirt, whatever. You can make it out of regular stone. You can actually make it out of draconium, or prismarine, or glass, a whole bunch of stuff. And then it's got a whole bunch of different parts here because all of the light green blocks from chisel count. All of the blocks count. I don't know why these emerald blocks are only material rarity 2, because I think you can craft a biome out of those on the cheap and just use a chisel to change them back. Seems kind of cheaty to me, but yeah, you can see the material list is stupid long. These are mob type controllers. You can specify what types of mobs can show up there. Yes, you can actually choose Ender Dragon. Hint, hint. You can choose the Wither boss, so you can have it endlessly spawning withers there. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Draconic Evolution. You can have it spawning all of the Draconic Evolution mobs. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Sky types, which are currently not craftable because I think you can craft these things just by themselves. Structures, which I think the structures you have to find. Let's find out village. Yeah, see, structure, village essence. I can't craft it because I don't have all the parts, I guess. World types. Let's see. Liquid is a terrain type. Normal is a terrain type. Here you have features, so you can absorb features in the world. Right here is none. And then these are digits. These are times. You can actually set what you can, like if you want to specify a world that's eternally noon, you can do that. And these are digits. Digits are used to change a world when you've made no other changes. So you remember a couple episodes ago I tried to create a random biome, and then I tried to create another random biome and it ended up being the same thing? That's going to happen. If you use the same, if you create two Dimlet tabs that use exactly the same modifiers, you're going to get exactly the same world every time. Not a copy of it, you're going to get the same world, unless you specify a different world with the digits. So if I took one of those realized dimension tabs and just put a digit 1 in it, I'd get a different dimension. Even though I've made no other changes, that would give me a different dimension. And then these are the different effects you can get. These you have to find, for the most part. Cheater is only used in creative mode. It lets you create a dimension that crafts immediately and has no power requirement. So it's completely cheating. Efficiency and mediocre efficiency. These allow you to reduce the power cost. So if you're building a super expensive dimension, you can toss some of these things in and make it a little cheaper. And then here is your controllers. Type controller, forest, magical, warm, wet. Weather controllers, so you can make a place with no rain, no whatever. None of that matters to us. I don't really care too much what else ends up in the dimension as long as it is a Highlands biome. Because with the Highlands biome, we can get in and put down our digital miner and mine up a crap ton of emeralds. So the rest of these we're going to put away for the moment. We're going to get an empty dimension tab. Okay. We'll go to our Dimlet workbench. Not the Dimlet workbench, the Dimlet dimension inscriber. Pop that in there. Pop the Highlands dimension in there. And we're going to name this Highlands 1. Store that. Now, put this in the dimension builder, and boom, we're going to start creating it. And bam. Maintenance cost is 20 a tick, specified is 10 a tick. The reason why the maintenance cost is a little higher than what was originally specified, this added some sort of random effect. It added some random stuff because I didn't specify everything. So it chose some things to put in here. One of those things had a cost of 100 RF a tick. But since I didn't pick it, it only costs 10% of that, so it added 10 RF a tick. So let's go. Well, let's get my power cell. Which we can do just coming in here. And we'll go check out the dimension we've just created. I didn't specify anything except for Highlands biome, so we should have, you know what, I didn't specify it was a single biome. So we know we're going to have a Highlands biome, but we don't know what else we're going to get. It would help if I actually changed my dimension dialer. If I dialed the new dimension, that would help. We'll dial Highlands 1, step on here, and teleport through. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got a cool sky. Do we get a void world? We got a void world. Well, that's no bueno. That's no bueno at all. I mean, it'll be cool to keep it in case I ever want to absorb the void terrain type, but that doesn't do us any good for our mission to get emeralds. I'm pretty sure I can extract that biome controller back out of there. By just popping it in here and hitting extract. Now, let's go make a single biome controller. And I probably should create a terrain controller too. Which I have a terrain absorber here. So we'll just pop the terrain absorber down and we'll let it absorb normal terrain. Let's get a single biome controller. Then this terrain absorber needs to go faster. Let's come over here to our dimlet workbench and see what it's going to take to do normal terrain. Normal terrain. I don't have a single memory module. So we'll have to probably extract a few of the extra dimlets that I had. Let's put the two important ones down on my hotbar so we don't get those confused, and let's just pull out all of the extra dimlets that we had. How you doing? 29%? Good. And then in the dimlet workbench, let's see, a mangrove biome probably is going to have a basic memory unit, so we'll toss that in there. Yes, we got a basic memory unit. I love it when a plan comes together. So, normal terrain, the only thing we're missing is the terrain modifier. The rest of these dimlets I'm not going to break down quite yet. I'm going to toss them in here because you might have noticed that I'm not necessarily getting all of the parts back out of these dimlets. That's because this dimlet workbench is not infused. We'll get into infusion probably, if not next episode, the one after that. Because next episode I really want to get the power going. Because right now, 2000 RF a tick is just not cutting it. I'm burning through Yellorium really fast. Right now I've got a good backlog on charcoal, but It takes a good hour to fill our power banks. I don't like that. I want to be able to fill things fast. Terrain is 62%. Absorb faster. While that's absorbing, I guess we'll go check on the progress of our crystal, and I'll get started on the next phase of our crystal, the infusing laser. We're going to need a lever. Of course, I don't have any levers. When do I ever have levers? We're going to need some of these extra crystals that I found. And we're going to need some of our nether stars. The crystals that you find in the world, you can use them for power if you want. There's nothing wrong with using them for power. There isn't much power in them, and they're very inefficient and very dirty, but you can use them. They have a better use, though. In here, it says catalyst missing. There's something up there, and then there's a thing here that looks like a crystal. You can pop your spent crystals, or the ones that you find in the wild, you can pop those in there, and it gives you a little bit of power in this bar. The infusing laser itself, if you look up the uses for it, it will tell you all of the different catalysts you can use and what the effect is. So, if you use ender pearls, it increases your purity 2%, up to a maximum of 100. Dimensional shards increases everything. Strength and efficiency can go up to 80%. Purity can get to 100 with these. There's a whole bunch of different pages, but the one that we're looking for is right here. Nether stars, if infused, increase strength and efficiency up to 90% each, up to a maximum of 100, but they kill your purity. Right now, our liquid is purity 85.1, right? This thing is still burning up crystal? What is going on here? I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why this is broken. It's getting power. It has lava in the tank. It's frozen at 36%. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Man, I'm gonna have to break it and put it back down. I'm wondering if when I left, if the chunk didn't unload and it interrupted the process for whatever ridiculous reason. So I'm not sure if I have this area chunk loaded. I probably should. Let's go ahead and change that now. No, it's chunk loaded. These areas over here don't need to be chunk loaded. So we'll go ahead and chunk load these. Wait, where am I on this map? Maybe it wasn't chunk loaded, I don't know. Well, regardless, it is now. Okay, we'll have to break the smelter, I guess. Pop it back down, and we'll put some more resonating ore in it. And we'll let that cook. By now our biome absorber should be done. Yep, terrain absorber, 100%. So let's jump down in here. Let's put the terrain absorber in the dimlet workbench. That gives us the normal terrain dimlet. And in the dimension inscriber, we're now going to say we want a highland biome. I didn't want default, I wanted single. Oh, I gotta have dimlet templates to do single. Okay. Let's do that real quick. I mean, a default one isn't bad. Get down there. Having the default one isn't bad. We'll need another redstone controller, which means, of course, I'm going to need more redstone torches. Okay, and we need some of these dimlet templates, which is dimensional shards around a piece of paper. Dimensional shards you have to get from other dimensions. In other dimensions, it spawns just like a regular ore, fairly low. It is like level 30 and below. It's pretty rare, but you can find it pretty easily. And then this will give me the single biome controller, which is what we want. We want the entire biome. We want the entire world to be a Highlands. So, in here, Highland, single. You want this to be, you want the controller to be behind the specifier. So we want a single biome that is Highland. And we want a normal terrain. We're going to call this Highlands 2. Store it. Build it. How are we doing over here? 6,000 liquid crystal. That's what I was waiting to see. Let's go ahead and play around with the infusing laser a little bit, because it's not going to take us long to get that. It's not going to take us long to do what we need to do. Let's put the nether stars in here. You'll see 60% purity loss, 90% strength and efficiency gained. So we turn this laser on and it's going to start beaming power into here, and our strength and efficiency are going to start skyrocketing, but our purity is going to crash. Notice the purity is going up every once in a while. That's because the purifier is still working on it. But we're going to let this laser run long enough to get our strength and efficiency up to 100%. There we go. And we'll turn that off. We don't need to run that anymore. That burned up 12 nether stars to get it that far. Now, what do? We sit and we wait for our filter material to start purifying this. Notice in here we have spent filter material. This actually is useful, and we'll get to that next episode. But we're going to let this purify for right now. The dimension is realized, and it has plenty of power. Maintenance cost is only 16 RF a tick, so that's awesome. We're going to dial to Highlands 2. Step on here, and let's see what we got. We should see a normal world that is all Highlands, because normal terrain type instead of void. And single biome Highlands. Oh, we have a random effect. We got tendrils. It looks like we got tendrils of stone. Yep, tendrils of stone. That's awesome. But it lets us come in here later and absorb the tendrils feature if we so choose, which is also awesome. Appetite in there. We don't care about appetite because appetite's useless. Let's go ahead and pop down our digital miner. Give it some power. Change our config to ore emerald. Make sure silk touch is on and start it. That is what I'm talking about. And this entire world will have emerald ore. So we can come in here and get as many emeralds now as we want. That is awesome. However, that's not the end of it. Remember the dimensional shards? We can get those in this world too. Now, to be fair, you have to get your first dimensional shard ore legit. I haven't found a way to get it using filters. But if you come in here and you go to the config and you hit new filter and you choose item stack and you put a piece of dimensional shard ore there, you can mine dimensional shard ore out of here too. So basically what we've done is we've created a world that we can mine infinite emeralds out of, and we can get infinite dimensional shards out of. How cool is that? And if we fly around, we'll find some of those little dimlet houses too. So we can come in here and we can farm for dimlets. Pretty neat, if you ask me. Let's go back home. And we'll get our wand. I went ahead and made an unbreakable builder's wand because it only costs 1 nether star. We had plenty. And we'll need our fortune augments. And we'll need our 3x3 augment. Let's pop these emeralds down and break them. Not bad for a minute or so of mining, huh? Nice. And the amount of experience you get from this is pretty ridiculous too. Not that experience has a whole lot of uses, but it is kind of useful for some things. Now, the reason why I wanted to get so many emeralds, if we come over here and we look at our purity, 63.2. This is going kind of slow. Let's speed it up. Emeralds, 8%. Cap, 100. This is going to increase our purity pretty fast. I am going to let this episode run a little bit long because I want to get the next part of this process going on camera. Because the next part of the process takes a while. You see, this burns a pretty good amount of emeralds doing it this way. I could sit here and wait for the filter material to take it up to 85% and then just give it the last boost, but I'm impatient and emeralds aren't a problem. So why not hurry it up? Okay, we're at 85% purity. This is where the filter material can't do any good anymore. So you'll see we're getting between 0.6 and 0.7 increase for every emerald. $89.7. We've broken the 90% barrier. Now, what we should see, remember this filter? It's set to 100%, 100%, 100%. What we should see, as soon as this stuff hits 100 on all 3 qualities, it should start draining into the bottom tank. Because the valve moves the liquid from the top to the bottom once those specific requirements are met. So we're at 99. 99.7, 100%. We're not moving yet. That tells me we might need to increase things just a little bit more, because it's probably like 99.999, whatever. So what we'll do is we'll hit this with one more nether star, because nether stars can get it to 100%. It'll wreck our quality a little bit, but we should be able to fix that with emeralds real fast. If you ever hit a point where the valve doesn't do what you're expecting it to do, redstone's ignored. Apply setting? Yeah, it didn't make a difference. So we'll hit it with one more nether star. That dropped our quality to 95. That's fine. We'll pop the emeralds in, start increasing the purity back up again. $97. There we go. Now it's draining. So yeah, the strength must have been like 99.99 or something like that. So close to 100 that it rounded up, but didn't quite do it. So it's draining all of the liquid crystal from the top tank down into the bottom tank. The crystallizer is picking up the liquid crystal from the bottom tank and is turning it into a crystal. And it's a slow process. So we're going to let that do its thing. And I'm going to end the episode here because I'm already 10 minutes over what I would normally go. So thank you guys for watching. When we come back next episode, we'll see what to do with the crystal that we've just created, and we'll get into the whole infusion thing so that we can start doing some more work with the dimlets. Hope you guys are enjoying the series, and I'll catch you later, peeps.